Welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt, folks. We just out here drinking with little orange juice and minding our own business. A very good afternoon to each and every one of you, folks, as you come on to the live broadcast, our international podcast. Why don't you give it a share for us? Why don't you smash that emoji button? And our technical folks are just ensuring that we're out on all the channels and we are out correctly. We just want to be out there. We want to be out there in the right manner. Folks, good to see so many of you. Whichever part of the diaspora, whichever part of the country you're joining us from today, we are privileged as usual to have each and every one of you. And we see lots of you already joining, already coming on board, joining our live international podcast. And folks, of course, we could not ask for a better audience than you beautiful, fantastic people. We could not ask for more. Certainly, we could not ask for more folks than you beautiful, fantastic folks. Thanks for joining us. Wherever you guys are joining us from today, it is our privilege having each and every one of you on the podcast. It is our distinct privilege, again, having each and every one of you on the podcast today. We would have it no other way, folks. We would certainly have it no other way than to be spending this time with you guys. So again, good to see each and every one of you. Good to see each and every one of you. And again and again and again, we love having you guys here. Love having you guys here with us. We love that. So again, welcome one and all to our international podcast, Below the Belt. Some of you joining us on Twitter. Some of you are joining us on YouTube, YouTubers. And some of you are joining us as well on Facebook, the Blue app, the Meta app. Folks, it's pace and power. And we're so grateful for wherever you guys are joining us from, that you guys are joining us again. Welcome to the broadcast. We're still ensuring that the guys put us through on all of the right channels so that as many of you can benefit from the program as possible. We're just ensuring that we are put through to the right channels, guys. So bear with us. Bear with us. Today's budget day, folks. It's budget day. It's the biggest budget ever. That's what them guys telling me. It's budget day, the biggest budget ever. That's the things I like, Those are the things that are like biggest budget ever. Those are the things that keep them happy. It was explained to us. I'm not an economist by any means by training, but we do a lot of reading and we catch up. But the folks have been advising us, our economists have been advising us that every budget, because you want consistent development and you always want to improve over the last year, they tell us that every budget is supposed to be the biggest budget because you're improving, you're increasing your spending, you are trying to improve the quality of life of your citizens. So by and large, really and truly, they tell us that every budget is supposed to be, should be the biggest budget ever. So we ain't got too much to shout about there. It is whether those funds are being spent on the correct things. That's what they advise us that really matters. Whether those funds are being spent on the correct things. That is what they tell us that we should really and truly be looking for. Again, that those funds are spent on the correct things. So those of you who are now joining us, again, welcome to our podcast, Below the Belt. Folks, we just might open up the line today to have a few of you on with us. We'd love to hear from you. And thanks to so many of you, hundreds of you who have already joined us. We want to see those emojis. Karen Clark and Jacqueline Ward, Kwana Mingo, Mark Ullman, George Annan, Susan Cancias, and Carol Hudson. Good to see you there, Carol Ferguson and Gladstone Matthews. Carol Fortune, Gladstone Matthews and Jackie Beard, Alexis Arthur, Cameron Augustus. Good to see you, Pat Di Castro. Good to see each and every one of you. Thanks for joining. And, I see Pat is asking us to give the budget a chance. Pat, we get two of them a chance, girl. Loretta Argyle Nassau, Pat Di Castro is one of our viewers, one of our listeners today. And Pat is saying, give the budget a chance. We get two of them a chance. Are we better off? And all two of them were the biggest budgets. Plantain price up, bread price up, bora price, rice, everything up. Two budgets we give a chance, a fair chance. A fair chance. And will this third budget, again, another biggest budget ever, will this be the one that improves our standard of living? We're going to be joined today, very shortly, by members of Parliament, Ricky Dionarine Ramsarup, and the one and only Don Hastings should be joining us. I'm so tempted to open the line. I think I'm going to do that, folks. Wait for my cue, folks. I'm going to open the line to a couple of you. I want to hear from you and your expectations, if any, of this budget. We had two before. We had two massive budgets before this one. And again, people are asking, are we better off? It's a good question. It's a good question. Are we better off? Again, both of them, in their own right and in their own stead, were deemed to be biggest budgets ever. And people crying out. People are now crying out very badly. Good. People are now crying out very badly about the cost of living to maintain a certain kind of standard of living. People crying out. And you all want to tell us now that we're wrong? That we didn't hear what we hear? People crying out. But there got some things that really I looking at little sideways. They got me looking at little sideways. I hear them guys talking about improving the cost of living by setting aside a lot of money, then going into communities to find out how they're going to alleviate the problem of the people. You mean after all of that traversing the communities that y'all do on taxpayers' money, you have to now go and find out why the people suffering and how you're going to alleviate the suffering? That's sounding a little back to front to me. But what do I know? I just lay here sipping my little orange juice and minding my own business. Folks, their first budget in September of 2020, it was to the tune of $329.5 billion. That was the tune of the budget. $329.5 billion. All you're hearing? Are we hearing, folks? That was the tune of the budget. And I day here and I do my little maths while we talking to each other. The budget was, again, it was 329 million, 0.5. That was September 2020. By December of that year, folks, they were back in the National Assembly. And this time they were asking for a supplementary budget because they didn't get to buy all the things they want to buy from the big budget. Money they done. They come and they asked for $17.4 billion in 2020. You know how much is that overall? $346.9 billion that we spent in 2020. Has your standard of living improved? We know the cost of living gone up, but has your standard of living improved? For us spending $346.9 billion in 2020. But it got even better in 2021. They passed a national budget of which they spent $383.1 billion. Another biggest budget ever. $383.1 billion. And if that was not enough, they came back for another supplemental. In June of last year, they came back for $21.3 billion. In June of last year. And if that was not enough, they came back in December. Right? They came back in December. By this time, they would have spent 404.4 billion last year. But that was enough for them. They come back in December again. Them boys come back in December again, and they asked for 26 billion. On top of 404.4 billion, they came back asking for 26 billion. So overall, they would have spent last year 430.4 billion. How is your standard of living? How we pocket doing? So in 2 years, last year they spent 430.4. And if we add 2021, let me add it quickly for y'all, because you know we maths. They say we maths ain't too good. And they English bad, so what a pair. Right? In all, we would have spent $777.3 billion over those two budgetary periods. But what do we know? We just say sipping we orange juice and minding we own business. I feel like slurping it a little bit for y'all. Over those two budgetary periods, we have spent $777.7 billion. How y'all cost of living? Huh? It manageable? How the standard of living? You standard of living improve. You eat more beef, you eat more chicken. You got more money to save. You got more disposable income. As them boys said. Again, I heard Papa Jagabat the other day in a broadcast. And I heard Irfan Ali yesterday talking about them trying to alleviate the standard of living by now setting aside some money, and then they're going to the people. They're going in communities to find out why y'all suffering and how they can try to alleviate. You mean y'all in here 12 years plus, 24 months plus. Right? 24 months plus. And you don't know why the people suffering? Y'all living in this country? Right? Y'all living in this country? Huh? We living in the same country where the people suffering? That's what y'all telling me? I find that difficult to believe. Rita Clark, them I'm feeling the pressure. Like Crabman, pressure. Crabman said, pressure. That's what he said, pressure. They ain't living here? Something wrong with that. But don't take it from me. Junior Ryan Ramsrup will be along shortly, as well as the one and only Don Hastings. They'll be joining us shortly. They are both in meetings. It's a busy time for MPs. We understand that. And they're going to be both with us in short order. Hopefully. Both with us. But I want y'all here. Where Fan said yesterday in this pre-budget address. Again, addressing this whole issue of how they're going to go about Joy Phillips, Gladstone Matthews, Carol Fordyce, about how they're going to go about trying to alleviate the cost of living. Hopefully trying to improve people's standard of living. Mavis Davis, well, Lynette Zephyr, Respect and Manners, Lynette. Huh? Let me take a listen to Irfan last night, because this is the strategy in how they're going to alleviate the cost of living and improve people's standard of living. Take a listen to Irfan. Bear with me, folks. Bear with us. Them boys ain't easy. Them boys ain't easy. Bear with us. Bear with us. We had it queued and now it's a little off. So we're getting that right. Them boys ain't easy. They now want to go to communities to find out why the people suffering. so they can come and see how they can alleviate the suffering. Let's take a listen. Let's see if we can get something here. I hope we have it queued up right.
Manufacturing, job creation, and job creating initiatives to support sustainable livelihood in the communities. To support sustainable communities, we'll also be investing in security systems, proper health and educational services, water services, to ensure our people, the people of Guyana, enjoys the best quality of life in the fastest possible time frame.
Catfish people.
This will also be supported with robust investment in our social sectors I mentioned, health and education, recreation and sport facilities. All of this will improve the quality of life within communities. Budget 2022 will ensure children get more. Yes, I've instructed that specific measures be in the budget to enhance the welfare and well-being of children. So children will get more. We'll set aside greater support to the elderly. We'll accelerate our scholarship program. We'll support the vulnerable, create room for direct medical support for our population, and enhance investments in the security sector through the use of technology and capacity building, whilst at the same time fulfilling our promise of better working conditions, welfare, and equipment for our men and women in the joint services.
We see it already.
The oil and gas sector is no doubt one of the catalytic sectors in our country.
He commented.
The oil and gas sector is key to the transformation of our country.
He commented, Verity.
Very key. So Budget 2022 will set aside resources for development and expansion of opportunities for locals through the implementation of the Local Content Act in order to create more job opportunities, investment opportunities, wealth creation, training and education, and integrating our oil and gas strategy with our national development plan, which is sustainable in nature. There must be a match. And we have made it very clear that revenues from the oil and gas sector must be used to make the other sectors more competitive, must be able and must be utilized in a way to expand the economic framework of our country, to improve our competitiveness, to enhance our sustainability, to build an economy that is standing on many different legs, that can withstand global shocks, that can weather storms when they come. These are the issues that Budget 2022 will address directly.
Come to it quick, man. Tell you how you're going to help
Specific measures will be announced to boost the construction sector, enhance our efficiencies, and create an enabling environment in which Guyanese can more easily acquire assets, equipment, and machinery to boost their business. I am aware of the impact that cost of living is having.
Here it is.
While we cannot address all the issues surrounding cost of living, I've instructed that resources be set aside to address this issue. Though this is a global issue, and much of it is imported, as the world is experiencing a 30-year high in inflation rates due to soaring food costs. Notwithstanding all of this, this government has a commitment to do all it can within its budgetary constraint and framework to help the population of this country. Therefore, I've asked the Minister of Finance,
here it comes,
to set aside a sizable allocation to address issues of cost of living. And this sizable allocation will be used through consultation with communities across the country to identify specific ways and initiatives in which we can deploy this budgeted allocation to ease the burden on the population.
Folks, the short of it is they don't have a plan. The short of it is they don't have a plan how they're going to solve the cost of living, how they're going to bring it down to a manageable level for us. I've instructed the minister within the office of the president with responsibility for finance, Ashley Singh, to set aside a sizable sum of money, and we will go to communities and we will ask them how we can alleviate this high cost of living. They don't have a plan. So they're now going to hatch a plan. They're now going to hatch a plan. You heard it, me like on the man. He said they're now going to the communities. Right? They can set aside a big set of money. You hear the jackass and the transcrappers? They can set aside a big set of money, and now they will go to the communities to find out how can we help you. Right? Listen to you again.
Not address all the issues surrounding cost of living. I've instructed that resources be set aside to address this issue. Though this is a global issue, and much of it is imported, as the world is experiencing a 30-year high in inflation rates due to soaring food costs. Notwithstanding all of this government has a commitment to do all it can within its budgetary constraint and framework
That's I don't
to
expect
help
much.
the population of this country. Therefore, I've asked the Minister of Finance to set aside a sizable allocation to address issues of cost of living.
You see the part there? You see, I read the fine print. You see the part there? Set aside a sum of money within the budgetary constraints. That means it's not plenty. It's another 7,000 humper yard chest. That's what we're telling you. Folks, big businesses can make millions and billions of dollars. And the small people, you make what we always making. You got to read the fine print. You got to slow it down and read the fine print. You hear that within budgetary constraints is the biggest budget ever. He talking about budgetary constraints to ease the cost of living of Guyanese, the high cost of living of Guyanese. They can come and say it's the biggest budget ever. I'm catfish out here telling me, oh, when it comes to you cost of living, that is high. We got to take into consideration budgetary constraint. We ain't got plenty of money. But we can set aside some. We can come in the communities and find out how we can help y'all. How y'all suffering. They don't live in the community, so they don't know. You think they're eating where we eating? Right now, I dip on a little can of sausage. I think it's 5 or 6 in the can, and I'm drinking a little half thing here of a little shot glass of orange juice. And the one bottle I got for the last 2 weeks. Stretching it. They don't buy where we buying. They don't eat where we eating. And that is why these trench crappos and jagabas could come and be talking to us about budgetary constraints when it come time for you get your little piece. Right? Watch how much go to the big projects. And then watch how much come in this allocation. Because he said, he said they have instructed. He instruct, because he could instruct. It's Jack the Hotel, Ashley. Them small man put aside a little something for them, man. Then we can go and we can share a little money in them communities and they can be good. Another 7,000 hamper, which is a half split piece, 2 pints of rice, a pound of sugar, a small tin of condensed milk, a little tin of sausage, a little 5 in a tin, and we can lose them with that. Right? We can lose them in that. How come every Guyanese ain't got a backyard, a bank account that we transferring money into? How come we still got to be carrying suitcases of money around to villages and so forth to share out? Y'all think y'all understand where we is? Y'all understand where we there? And that is why we have asked the question. We have asked the question, whether 3 budgets later, how you standard of living? This is the 3rd budget. After spending 777, .3 to be accurate, $777.3 billion over the last two budgetary cycle. Hmm? How come we still got to come down in the communities and see how the people life could improve? But all these biggest budget ever. Folks, next year, this time when we're talking about the next budget, we can be having the same conversation because the people don't care. I want to give you the short of it, right? We're going to be having this same conversation because the people don't care. How else you want me to say it to you? They don't care. They ain't got time. They don't care. Y'all remember Crabman? Crabman put it best. He said he didn't have any, he's not a politician, but he was just speaking from the standpoint of a businessman. And what was he saying? He was saying things tight. He's the average Guyanese saying things tight. And Guyanese have been crying out. What is the government response? They're now coming to see how they can alleviate it. They ain't got a plan. That is the section of the address yesterday that was dedicated to bringing down the cost of living. Right? Let me give you all a refresher with Crabman. Let me give you all a refresher with Crabman. Take a listen to what Crabman tell me recently. Take a listen to what Crabman tell me recently.
Pressure boss pipe. Pressure boss pipe, boy. Umaninja, Guyana de Andawata, Oskondarang. Sorry. Umaninja, Guyana de Under pressure. Walk. Bangameris $400 pong. Trout $400 pong. Oh, you go buy them sell back by. I just come and tell a boy, bisa buy me little fish and mix with me little crab and sell. Thing that just raise, thing just double the price, just double. Oh, con partner. What you could do now? You don't squeeze out the fucking juice from the fucking Guyanese people. The beer hawks left, what you gonna do with the orange? We can't eat the fucking hawks that we gotta eat. Pressure bus pipe, partner, pressure bus pipe. When you put up a fucking 20,000 this week, next week you put up a 10,000, other week you put up a fucking 15,000 end of the month. You gotta still borrow 20,000 and somebody will pay the fucking bill. Right now, like water bill, more dear on fucking like bill. And then if you get cut off, me a walk little crab. Now crab man is walk little crab. That's it. Me a do business. You gotta pay commercial. On 7.5, you gotta pay 15 fucking thousand, but just put a man. That's got nonsense, man. Me no people try rob you back your fucking back, them a rob you got your face. Now look the goods gone. What is contact going to hear money? Light bill, phone bill, NIS, fucking tax. Ration. Look fucking thing that raise $2 more. Everything is just double all the time. People got dead a fucking guy and guy is fucking strong. Not by that fucking set up. Them a take his cut and stay easy. Oh partner, you hard. You need to do some adjustment. People got to live. I believe everything here, gold, diamond, every spot you think about right here. And these are sapphire. People can buy them yes, but if they don't get any money, how the fuck they gonna get it? Yeah. How much is the nice crap? They got 7,000, 10. They got 7,000, 10,000, 5,000. Pressure bus pipe partner. Pressure really something that adjust. People got dead his con. I think that just raise $100 more or $500 more, you know. Everything just fucking double. How you getting money? How you go buy a pump back and make $400 sell? People say me rob them. Then me haul a fish and tell them how much. They go cost me. They go want fucking kill me. Oh man. You need to do some adjustment, Mr. President. They need to adjust. You just can't wake up just from bram, all this thing happen. Things take time. Me not no politician now, fucking crab man I sell, but me know he hard. He really hard. Imagine me do business on a filler. How much you whole day you think you fucking sell? 120,000, 25,000. If you sell on 40,000, you're a big fucking man, but not the guy sell 40,000, a whole 40,000 you want. One to your expense, one to the things that you buy, one to your work, one to your food, one to your gas. You might left with a little fine that yes, but at least you work for that. But that's what you can't make it in this life right now, partner. Pressure bus pipe. See you ain't no pressure bus pipe. Just like you know later. Oh my.
Yep. That is Crabman himself. Pressure bust pipe. He says he's not a politician. Folks, that's a Guyanese. Right? You know, instead of helping what this government gonna do, this regime gonna try to attack Crabman when they can. Oh, is you the talking about we? Right? And try to victimize him. Folks, we told you we'll have two MPs with us, Ryan Ramsarup and John Hastings Williams, and they're still committed to being on, but they're both in meetings currently, so we're waiting on them. But while we're waiting, we're talking, we're standing still, we're moving. Pressure Crabman. So, you know, two things Crabman said there, to me was instructive. Two things. I mean, he said a lot of things there that make sense. That makes sense. And you know why it resonates with us? Because it's true. That's why it resonates with us. Because it is true. He said, wring the juice out of Guyanese people. He can't put it any better. They wring the juice out of Guyanese people. And he added to that, we just stay down here quiet, taking it. It's because the juice ring out to we. You understand me? When you see some Guyanese, and you try to describe them, Crabman got it. It's like they wring the juice out of them. They wring the juice. Diane Graves, I think that's what Crabman said. Chisung Henry, Glenn Sismingo born. They wring the juice out of Guyanese. We live in the more, you know, we just existing. Right? And we supposed to move from existing to living to thriving. We just existing right now. Phase one. Because why? They wring the juice out to Wikwana Mingo. Sonnet, Dillon, Maynard, they wring the juice out of us. Yonet Abimala. That's what they do. The next thing he said to me that was very instructive. They wring the juice, he said, Mr. President, oh, you need to do some adjustment. You need to do some adjustment. You know, we say easy pressure. That's what we really mean. Oh, yeah, let the top there. Do something for ease the pressure. Pressure, he said. Pressure is bust pipe. My aunt, Elizabeth, will say pressure is make water run uphill. Pressure. Pressure does bust pipe. And pressure does make water go uphill. He said you need to do some adjustment. You know what's the adjustment? If I just tell you what's the adjustment, he said, I understand the cost of living high. Here we can do. We can set aside some money and we can come to the communities and see what really happening to y'all. If that is not detached, if that is not being out of touch with the needs of the people, folks, I don't know what is. Right? If that is not being out of touch with the needs of the people, the man said, he said that they care about children. Didn't he say that? A line upon them, he said he care about children and they got plan for children. Let me tell you what's the plan for children. In case you don't read between the lines, let me help y'all. I can do the reading for y'all. I can do it for y'all. You might not be able to do it for yourself. They say they care about children. Let me show you the care about children. Right now, they got a 14-year-old who's suing the state for $25 million over unlawful detention. That's what we're children there. A 14-year-old currently suing the state. Right? Currently, according to the report we have here, a 14-year-old girl is suing the state in excess of $25 million for damages for what she said was her unlawful detention at the East Le Penitence police station, where she alleges to being subjected to, among other things, sexual predatory advances by female adult prisoners. She's 14. I want to read that one paragraph. A 14-year-old girl is suing the state for in excess of $25 million in damages for what she said was her unlawful detention at the East Penitence police station, where she alleges being subjected to, among other things, to sexual predatory advances by female adult prisoners. They put a minor with big people in the prison. And this government gonna come and tell me this is the biggest budget ever. We solving no problems, you know. We are not solving any problems in this country. It's one little clique and cabal, Jackie Beard, Rami Leander, Glensis Mingo Bourne, Florette, Roxanne, Odessa Jacobs, Andrew John, Samuel. Is one set of people making the money. Kickbacks and siphoning off. And on the eve of the biggest budget ever, Transparency International told us just yesterday that we fall back on the corruption perception index internationally. The best we did on it ever was under the David Arthur Granger-led administration. The best. We improved 12 points, but we just fall back. In just over a year since them boys come back, we just fall back on the index. We just fall back on the index. Pressure. Right? You want to show you all pressure will be there? Huh? You want to show you, I want to read for you all pressure. And will be there? Huh? Father, help us in this place, Father. Help us, help us, help us in this place. Right? You got things happening at the airport. Make me look like nothing. Right? They're making me look like nothing. And Irfan out here last night telling me how we improve, we standard internationally. Trying to make me something. How we improve when we standard. And you got professional people out here begging. Professional people out here begging and harassing people at the Charlie Jagan International Airport. And we improving, we image under them. Here why people talk about corruption. Here why we falling back on the corruption index. It's not only Sharon Hicks, you know. It's every entity under the PPP got corruption. Folks, I down to my last sausage here. In this little can. And my orange juice in the bottom of the cup looking tin. What y'all having? Here, Terry Gadraj. Here, Terry Gadraj, the international artist. Terry Gadraj. This was posted on his page on January 20th. I want y'all to listen to what Terry says. And y'all gonna know whether y'all had similar experiences where you are. Okay, listen to Terry. 5 days ago, bullies at Chedi Jagan International Airport. Bullies at Chedi Jagan International Airport. Listen to Terry. In the ring, we call this section sesh. My dad's brother passed away. This is Terry Gadraj. My dad's brother passed away last month in Guyana. So my mom, dad, and sister went home for the funeral. Upon returning back from Guyana, they had the most despicable airport experience at Chedi Jagan International. Mind you, these folks travel, These folks travel. This is the most despicable experience they had at Chedi Jagan International. Here is why. My dad is 80 years old, and both my mom and dad were greeted with intimidation tactics by the immigration officer. My dad said the immigration officer kept scrutinizing their passports, flipping pages in a rage, and give them the meanest looks. On top of that, a second immigration officer came over and did the same things all over again, But wait, then a third immigration officer proceeded to do the same thing again. Why would you do that to an 80-year-old without even communicating to them? After that experience, my mom, dad, and sister proceeded to the security checkpoint. Folks, it gets better. There was more cringeworthy details, but I will cut to the chase. This is Terry Gadraj. As you know, there's no such thing as customer service. They treat you like you're garbage unless you're rich and famous. Unless you're Irfan Ali and Papa Jagabat and Catfish and Trench Crapos and so on. Then they can treat you nice. This is Terry Gadraj. Unless you're rich and famous. The female security officer told my sister that she has a mirror in her carry-on suitcase and that is not allowed on the aircraft. My sister explained that it is a face mirror and she travels with it all the time. The security officer then told her it's okay, but my sister needs to give her a small piece and told my sister to meet her in the duty-free shop. The security officer then made eye contact with her supervisor and they both nodded to each other. My sister was in disbelief and said she was in shock to even say something. Right? This is security woman asking her for a bribe to carry a mirror on the plane. Well, don't go on them planes. She was shocked to even answer. My sister walked past the duty-free shop and quickly proceeded directly to her gate. My sister thought she was safe at the gate. But lo and behold, the security officer was right behind, stalking her. She then told my sister to meet her in the ladies' room. Even though my sister wanted to use the restroom, she was too terrified to go there. She just tried to hide with my parents among a group of people and could not wait to board the plane, to leave Guyana, not to come. I was not planning to make a Facebook post, Terry says. But as my sister shared her experience with relatives and friends, she realized this is a pattern. And this has happened to many others. There are the typical bullies who prey on innocent, helpless travelers. Why was my 80-year-old dad treated like a suspect? Do bullies treat criminals like that, or do they just let them go because they're afraid of them? It is shameful. And unfortunately, things like these just get swept under the rug. And the pattern continues. Business as normal and the bullies win again. For me personally, Terry Gadraj says, it is a slap in the face. And it is extremely embarrassing because I travel around the world for 30 years, consistently promoting Guyana and literally flying the Guyanese flag at all my events. As I speak with Guyanese from different cities and different countries, you realize people genuinely want to return home to Guyana, but they are concerned. Here are the concern about. Remember, Irfan told me last night they have improved the image of this country internationally. Here are the concern about, according to Terry Gadraj, they are concerned about security, bribery, and corruption. They are concerned about security, bribery, and corruption. This is the small man talking. It's not the politicians sugarcoating. Terry Gadraj said he speaks to Guyanese from different cities. I'm quoting him. Different countries. You realize people genuinely want to return home to Guyana, but they are concerned about security, bribery, and corruption. He ends by saying this: I'd be happy to share my contact for my sister and dad if someone can definitively do something about this, but I will not be holding my breath. That is his resolve. Not that he hear from them in there and things gonna change. He said, I will not be holding my breath. That's Terry Gadraj. I will not be holding my breath. He said, people complain all the time. Right? What they complain about? Security, bribery, and corruption. Yesterday, folks, we dropped some additional places, and that's not a good sign, on the International Corruption Perception Index. as a country. I know some of you won't like it, right? Because y'all have the opinion Granger didn't do nothing. But we improved on that corruption perception index. In 2018, we did the best ever. We improved 12 points. 12 points. And folks, those of you who don't like it, you could put it in your pipe and smoke it. That is Terry Gadrach telling me. He talks to people from all across the world. Guyanese in the diaspora. They want to come home and help genuinely, but they're concerned about security, bribery, and corruption. He said he has no hope that the situation is going to improve right now. Terry Gadrach, international singing sensation we have produced here. Fantastic fellow. Fantastic artist. I know about the politics. Fantastic artist. And that's what he posted. Right? So when them guys come and think, the fluff and bluff, we have restored international image and we're back on the world stages, them got to be right to be there. More than that, folks, I am being made to understand that the authorities know who demanded bribe from Terry Gadrach family. I am being made to understand that they know. Well, the biggest budget today solve that? Ain't solving that, because the biggest budget is for the biggest business people. It's not for the small man. Because Terry is absolutely right. Because the authorities know who demanded of the bribe of Terry's sister. The authorities know. But you know what? When they saw who demanded the bribe, when they saw the ethnicity and the hair texture, that's where the problem come now. That is where the problem be. These are the things we don't want to talk about. How the biggest budget gonna fix this? How the biggest budget gonna fix this? When once is one we own, you could do no wrong. You could do no wrong. Oh, they got people passing through the court, swift, for 2 grams of cannabis. Swiftly, quickly, they are charged and incarcerated. But not the permanent secretary who demanded 200,000 bribe a month from a little contractor till he get tired and fed up and out here. She on bail, languishing nicely with her salary still on taxpayers' money, getting all her benefits and salary as permanent secretary still, out on bail. How nice. It's never the snapper. It's never the gailback. It's never the shark. It's always the little cockabelly. It's always the little cockabelly. So because this woman here, this officer at CJIA who demanded the bribe, because it's her complexion and the texture she here, it's another story. Folks, y'all know we talk the things. We talk the things here is another story. Pressure. So who this biggest budget going to help? It can help me. Leonard Scotland, it can help you. Simone Williams, it can help you. Rena Cummins, Nadia Smith, it can help you. Who Vex Luz? Sharon Shea Austin, it can help you. Who this biggest budget coming for help? Who is coming for help, people? This is the crux of the matter. It is the crux of the matter. And so, don't get carried away. You're going to hear a lot of fluff and bluff today. You're going to see quite a few headlines. A lot of graphics for nicing it. But it is what it is. Right? It can be another dud. They had the biggest budget ever in 2020. Right? How do they work out for we? We beg people, but we ain't stupid. We beg, but we ain't stupid. 2020 budget, 329.5 billion. The supplementary was 17.4. At that time was the biggest budget ever. What did it do for we? Public servants pay increase? It wasn't. 2021 budget, 383.1. Then they come back for a supplemental of 21.3 billion. Then another supplemental of 26 billion. What do for we? We got a hamper with chest. Take 7,000 and take a 7%. In the meantime, everything double in. Don't take me water crab. I say everything double. What do for we? All these biggest budget. So you can get you fluff and bluff. Oh, this is to go to the small man and so on. But remember the man said, catfish, within the budgetary constraints. So he really said we got other things to focus on. Y'all don't bother we. We can see what we can do for y'all. Y'all do not bother us. That's what the man's saying. All the while, right? Then come and tell me that they like we children. And the 14-year-old languishing at East Repentance and got to sue them. And the schoolboy, the schoolboy, that young man from Covent Garden Secondary. Oh, the police trying for high folly. Teenager. What could he have done? He had a gun in the bag. He had an AK-47. Policeman trying to high folly. And you're going to tell you that you love with children. You're going to try to tell me that y'all love with children. You trying to, somebody's son in the school, a policeman trying to high folly. High sip and lash it down. To trip him down. And you tell me that you love with children. With 14-year-old daughter, East Penitence. The young lady said, among other things, right, she was subjected to sexual predatory advances. That is how Tony Gadrat says she probably felt when the woman touched him in the toilet. A sexual predatory advances come in. That is how the woman must have felt. If a security officer tell me meet me in the toilet, right, you must be paying for the flight. You know, I operate a little different. I would say, well, you got to pay for the flight. Meet you in the toilet. Right? That's what the girl probably felt. The girl said she was fearful. You can imagine going to the airport and the security is supposed to be protecting you. You got to be hiding from them among passengers. That's what we come to. The security who's supposed to be protecting you from predators. There's the predators. Right? So more than likely, Terry Gadrat's sister probably was fearing the same thing. It's bribe plus the sexual predatory advances. That's what the 14-year-old faced with at East Repentance. Now she's suing the state for $25 million. And just this morning we saw, it's posted on my Facebook page, Sheriff Avery Duncan, a policeman trying to trip down a school child. Something they're trying to get out of his backpack. We can get to the full story. We can get to the full story. The Ministry of Education is about to issue a statement that says an investigation has been launched, and then we're not going to hear back nothing again. Investigations always been launching. They never conclude. Never conclude. We ever learning, but never coming to the knowledge of the truth. Ever learning. Folks, I did tell you, my guests were straddling some meetings and really wanted to be here. Who knows, they might still jump in. Ever learning, but we never come into the knowledge of the truth in this country. Right? Ever budgeting, but we ain't solving no problem. Like the pothole on the road we show y'all in the ring the other day. We draw the line wrong it. We never try to solve the problem. Unless there's tremendous public pressure. Then we go and we try to Photoshop the problem. And when there is enough public pressure, then we can try to rectify it. Only then. Why can't we just do the right thing in the first instance? Why can't we be hospitable to people going through the airport, provide a decent service, and really and truly, not in a cosmetic way, lift the standard of care? You think when we treating people like that at the airport, anybody want to go by I love you, get on a sign and take out a picture? You think Terry Gadrat, his sister, money father, excited to come back here? For somebody to think their sexual predatory advances against them? Financial and otherwise? You better think again. Folks, you better think again. So, listen to the budget. But you gotta redefine Brits. Within budgetary constraints, the man said, you're gonna try to ease the standard of living. Within budgetary constraints. You're not gonna say life on your fan, you know. You're gonna say a lot of things, but you wouldn't say try for life on your fan. Within budgetary constraints, we're going to see what we can do within the constraints. Right? I ain't lying, but take Take another listen. Let me see if we can get it queued up back. Within the budgetary constraints, the man said, we can try to alleviate the
We're
high cost of
working
living.
aggressively on removing the barriers and building the capacity
Take a listen
to
again.
be the main food supplier in the region. And Budget 2022 will outline specific measures through which we'll support our fisher folks, through which we'll support our rice farmers,
Another hamper in the chest.
through which we'll support our aquaculture farmers,
Another hamper in the
through
chest.
which we'll
Take a
support
7,000.
our cash crop farmers. We will have specific initiatives aimed at supporting farming and agriculture and food production.
2 budgets later, we still here.
Agro-processing. We will be setting aside resources to have public-private partnerships,
2 budgets later.
to have partnership with communities and stakeholder groups in enhancing food production.
Fix the
All of
damn
this
airport.
I've asked to be in Budget 2020.
Fix the damn airport.
Housing continues to be a key pillar through which will improve livelihood and enhance personal equity. Tremendous investments will therefore be made in expanding new infrastructure to meet the target of 50,000 house lots set aside in our manifesto. We'll also be investing heavily in industrial and manufacturing development to ensure that we create sustainable communities in which there is a match between community development and economic expansion and opportunity.
Fix the airport for Terry and the
Social
family.
services and security are also key component of these sustainable communities we want to create. So it's not only about creation of house lots and building of homes. We are also on a planning trajectory that incorporates industrial development, manufacturing, job creation, and job creating initiatives to support sustainable livelihood in the
Youth
community.
employment at an all-time high.
To support sustainable communities, we'll also be investing in security systems, proper health and educational services, water services, to ensure our people, the people of Guyana, enjoys the best quality of life in the fastest possible time frame. All of this I've asked to be in Budget 2022. Housing continues to be a key pillar through which will improve livelihood and
Yep. We seem to have missed our cue there. With the sum set aside within budgetary constraints in which they can try to solve the high cost of living. They go around to communities and try to hatch a plan now. You understand me? They can try to hatch a plan. But then come and tell us the biggest budget ever. We helping people. It's a people-centered budget. But you know how you're helping people. You know what plans and programs you have. You got to go now and see what is the problem. How we can bring down this borrow price here? This planting price, Mr. Farmer. How you think we can take it down? Man, I vote for you. I vote for y'all. This price suit me. Me taking it down. Yeah? Y'all think it's easy, folks? Right? Y'all think it's easy? Let me apologize on behalf of my guests who should have been here. As I told you when we started, they were straddling several programs, folks. They were straddling rather several meetings. And we were going to try to have them. Unfortunately, we have not been able to do so. Our apologies on that behalf, on their behalf, for not being able to have them on the program. We are certainly going to correct that in the near future. Folks, we are heading to the National Assembly at, I think, 2 o'clock to see what's in store for the future of this country. For the sake of all of us, I hope they got something there. For Crabman and the other folks, the fisher folks, and so I hope they got something. I hope they got something. That being said, folks, we cannot do this program without you. Thankfully, we don't depend on them. Thankfully, we don't depend on them or we will be nowhere. It is you, the people, who keep us going. And so by now, we have several platforms available. We have the Cash App platform, our Cash App handle there. So you can contribute to keep our programs going. The Cash App handle is the dollar symbol in the ring, 592. The dollar sign in the ring, 592. We're available via PayPal and we're available via Zelle. At both platforms, the email is the same. At both Zelle and PayPal, our email is the same. It's inthering592 at gmail.com. Inthering592 at gmail.com. Folks, no amount is too small. No amount is too great either. In the ring592 gmail.com is our email for both our Zelle platform and our PayPal platform. We are available via MMG as well. Our number there is 627-6963. MMG is the local cash app, the Guyanese cash app. 627-6963 is that number. And we're available via Western Union MoneyGram as well. Western Union MoneyGram, Western Union MoneyGram. You have any concerns, folks? You need any guidance? That very MMG number is our WhatsApp number as well, 627-6963. Folks, have a fantastic day. We're going to be joining you back later on in the day. We're definitely going to be in the ring with you guys to bring you the what comes out of the budget, to bring you the detail, to give you the context for what is coming out of the budget. Be sure to smash the emojis before you go and share the live stream as well. Shalom Kingston, good to see you there. Orindon Cook, good to see you too. Maxine Monroe, great to see you. Candy Indajit, the one and only, good to see you. Good to see you, Erwin Don, Donna Liverpool, Patricia Kissoon. Lyndon Gill, respect and manners, Lyndon, respect and manners. Angeli Abrams, good to see you. Folks, make sure you smash the emoji button before you go and ensure you share the broadcast as well. Again, my apologies that we couldn't have our guests this afternoon. Again, lots of meetings happening as we forge our way ahead with this biggest budget ever. But we understand this is not going to improve the standard of living. And the cost of living will continue to go up for the man at the bottom. That's just how it's going to be. That's how it's going to be. Pinky Richmond, Glensis Mingo Byrne. Good to see you, Glensis. Faith Ferdinand. Carol Hudson. Good to see you as well. And Roxanne Odessa Jacobs. Folks, stay safe. We're going to see you guys later on in the day. Share the live streams. Share the live podcast. And smash the emoji button as well. Folks, who vex lose? Thanks for joining our podcast Below the Belt. Thanks for joining the international podcast Below the Belt. Who vex lose? Stay safe, guys.